I was playing for Bath Arsenal at a tournament, and a scout must have come up to my dad, or it must have been my dad and my mum, and gave him a leaflet, I guess, saying we want to just take him along and just come to a training session. And I was sat right behind where Joe whipped it in the corner, and I was me and my dad were sat right there, and I think my brother was there as well. And I can remember him coming up to me, him and the gaffer coming up to me, coming to me and said, "Listen, I don't think I'm going to be playing. Like, I think you're going to be in, blah blah, all that sort of stuff." And that's something that I won't forget, and something that I will hold on to and use as fuel. It's lovely, and like I said earlier on, this is home, and it's beautiful when the sun's out like this, and we can just sit here and enjoy this. And yeah, I'm over the moon. I'm super happy to be here, and yeah, it's lovely.
So Zak, it's a sunny day here on the Harbourside. Just agreed a new 3-year deal at Bristol City. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm buzzing. The sun's come out for us as well, which is lovely. But no, yeah, I'm really happy. There was a lot of talking. It went on for a little bit, but yeah, no, I'm over the moon that it's done, and I'm happy to be here.
You're obviously going into the last year of your previous contract. There's a dog just walked past, but yeah, that's what we do. Obviously, you were going into the last year of your contract, but that's all sorted now. Does it allow you to fully focus on the season ahead?
Yeah, for sure, a little bit. There was a lot of communication between me, agent, and Brian, Phil, the gaffer. So yeah, there was a bit of talk and whatnot what was going to happen, and I'm glad that it's sort of sorted and put to bed, and can, like you say, fully focus on the task ahead, and we can go into it 100% now.
A 3-year deal with Bristol City. What do you hope to achieve in 3 years?
Yeah, my ambitions are very high, personally and collectively. So I want to drive the team as high as we can in the league, and push and strive for what we all want, and give 100% in doing that. You've
been at the club since you were 8 years old. Does it feel extra special when you've been at the club for so long?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think I've said in other interviews before, even just walking out Ashton Gate, it still feels special. And yeah, for sure, this is a big part of my career that's coming up, and a big part that I'm happy to commit to Bristol City, and yeah, it's definitely a special feeling being here for so long and continuing that.
Fans might look at your Wikipedia or something that says born in London, but you've actually been local for pretty much your whole life. Do you remember much of life in London, or was it moving to Bath? I think it was 7 years old. So do you remember much?
No. I remember bits and bobs. It was my childhood. I had my childhood there. So obviously, I still have a great fondness for it. And yeah, I've grown up here, but I did have my childhood there. So it's definitely part of me. Definitely a special part of me. And yeah, I do remember bits and bobs. I was very young. But yeah, I obviously, like you said, I've been here for a long time now, and this feels like home, and this is home. So yeah, it's definitely something that I kind of carry with me when I play here, and like you said, I've been here since I was 8 years old, and I want to continue that.
What are your earliest memories of playing football?
When my brother, well, to be honest, it wasn't really when I was playing. It was when my brother was playing. He used to play for a team. He played for Dulwich Hamlet when we were younger, and I used to go and just kick a ball against the wall whilst he was training and whilst he was playing and stuff. And we were obviously we were kids, seven. I was 7, he was 9, and yeah. And then when we moved over to Bath, I played for Team Bath Arsenal and played locally there, and it was a fun time, just tournament football and whatnot, and you're a kid just running around just trying to kick a ball, and I was a striker, so I was just trying to emulate Thierry Henry. Didn't happen as much as I thought it would be, but yeah, it was a good sort of time as you're a kid just having fun playing football. So that's probably my earliest memory.
You mentioned Thierry Henry there. Is that why you've got the number 14 tattooed on your arm?
Part of me is I was born on the 14th as well, 14th of May. So there's partly that, and yeah. But Thierry Henry is obviously the reason why I like to play football, and yeah.
Do you remember getting picked up by Bristol City? Do you remember being scouted at all, or does it just kind of blur a bit?
No, I do. I was playing for Bath Arsenal at a tournament, and a scout must have come up to my dad, or it must have been my dad and my mum, and gave him a leaflet, I guess, saying we want to just take him along and just come to a training session. And there was loads of kids there, and just play and train and whatever, and I must have done all right, and yeah, got scouted. I don't remember too much of it, obviously, because I was pretty young, but yeah, I think my parents probably have a better understanding of it.
Back at that age, 8, 9 years old, do you really think about ever playing first team football, or is it kind of just I'm playing football when I'm 9 years old, or is it?
Yeah, for me, I just loved playing football. I didn't really think about, okay, I'm gonna do this and that and this and that. Obviously, I wanted to be a professional footballer, like as every kid at that age would probably say. And I just loved playing football, and that's all I wanted to do all the time. And nothing's changed really. And yeah, like for me, I just wanted to enjoy it, play football with my friends, to be honest, and that was a great thing that I could do doing it here, and I just loved it. Yeah.
You mentioned how special it still feels playing at Ashton Gate. What's your earliest memories of the stadium? Obviously, before the renovations, what's your earliest memory of?
Yeah, one of my earliest memories. We used to go to a lot of the games, is like because we were in the academy and stuff like that. We used to go to the games, but one that I can sort of remember like very clearly was I think it's actually is it 10 years today, the Rovers game, and I was sat right behind where Joe like whipped it in the corner, and I was like, me and my dad were sat like right there, and I think my brother was there as well, and yeah, I can remember that game very fondly. And obviously I was a bit older then, but yeah, that one sticks in my mind very clearly. And then yeah, just sitting. We used to sit in the outfield stand, and yeah, it was great as academy players going and watching, and even then they were saying, oh, this could be you and stuff like this, and you're thinking, wow, like that's crazy. So it definitely has a very special feeling for me.
And moments like that, games like that, and is that when you realise, wow, I could make it? This could be me. I could be out there. I want to be out there. Is that when you kind of realise at that age that you could make it in the first team?
100%. Yeah, you when you get a bit older and you're still enjoying it, you're still playing out of the love of the game, but you realise, okay, this could actually be a career for me. This could actually be a life for me. So yeah, for me it was definitely something that once I got to a certain age, I was like, yeah, this is all I want to do, and that's it. Like I was tunnel vision on that, and that was the only option for me.
You spoke about your brother earlier. He spent some time in the Bristol City Academy.
Yeah.
He left the academy. When you got offered pro terms, how big was that for you?
Yeah, massive. I mean, it was when he left, it was tough for him, and I obviously saw that closer than anybody else. And it was he sort of just said, right, well, we're obviously on different paths. Like, you crack on and you keep striving for what you want to do. And obviously when I got my pro, he was the first to congratulate me, as he would as a big brother. And yeah, it was a time that was probably quite unsettling for him, and he made sure that I didn't feel any of that, and I didn't feel any sort of animosity towards anything, and he just sort of kept me on a straight and narrow to strive for what I wanted, and yeah, it was a thing that he's still watching the games now. Obviously he's in America, and he wakes up when we have an early kickoff like we did the other day. He's up at 7 a.m. watching the games and stuff, and watching them all the way through. So he's now sort of biggest fan, and making sure that we're always in contact about stuff, and yeah, just big brother vibes.
That's what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
So you played 18s, you played 21s.
Yeah.
How early did you train with the first team? What was that experience first like? Do you remember it at all?
Yeah, I was. It was a bit of a whirlwind, really, because I can remember being in the 18s, playing 21s, and we had that under 21s group. We had quite a lot of them were under 18s. It was quite a lot, like me, Max, Marley Bishop, Joe Morrell, Connor Evans. Like, there was a lot of us that were under 18s that were then, playing up, I guess. And yeah, we kind of all got fast tracked into the 21s, and then and as it kind of, I guess, we grew up a little bit more. I was about 17, 18. I think 18 probably, and yeah, I can remember training with the first team, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is another, it's another step up. It's a proper another step up, and it was a great feeling, obviously, just training with them and seeing the level that you needed to be at, and it kind of it does sort of focus you a bit more, because you're not training with people your own age, and it's they're preparing for a game. Now I'm obviously in those shoes. I'm like, okay, we're preparing for a game on the weekend, and it's such a big thing. So everybody has to be at the level, and everybody has to be at the right standard. So it does focus you and make sure that you are on song 24/7.
What kind of players were you playing with in that first training session?
It would have been like J. Emmanuel Thomas. Obviously, again, being a defender, coming up against him in one of your first sessions, you're like, wow, okay, that's crazy. Who else would have been? Obviously, Joe, Bobby, who were great for me personally coming through. Who else would there been? Not one of my first ones, but ones I can remember sort of from that age would have been obviously Jimmy Codger, who was quality. Lee Tomlin would have been in that as well. You know, like obviously I was a bit older then, but some of the players that I sort of remember being there, Corey Smith, you know, remember being there for me, and Luke Ayling, players like this. You know, it was a good group of players. Flinty was great for me. So yeah, it was sort of that around that sort of those few years spanning.
You said a whirlwind from 18 to 21, training the first team.
Yeah.
Your debut didn't come until February 2016.
Yeah.
Were you eagerly waiting for that? Were you chucked in? What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was I wouldn't say. Well, it kind of was chucked in. It was a bit. I didn't expect it. I remember travelling with the first team, doing my song, doing all that sort of stuff. What did I sing now? I sang Jason Mraz, I'm Yours. Couldn't tell you why, but sang that. Thought it'd get everyone going. Didn't. And then we had. I think Mark Little had a little knock that he was carrying, and I think he did a fitness test in the morning, and he wasn't obviously right for the game. And I can remember him coming up to me, him and the gaffer coming up to me, like as we're on the way to the game or in the pre-match at the hotel, come up to me and said, "Listen, I don't think I'm going to be playing. Like, I think you're going to be in, blah blah, all that sort of stuff." And I was a bit like, "Well, okay, this is real now. It's happening, blah." So I literally found out probably, a couple hours before the game that I was actually going to be starting. And yeah, it was great. It was a great game, and I can remember doing pretty well, and it was fantastic. Yeah, and I loved that moment, and I'll remember that moment, for as long as I'm playing football, and as long forever really. So yeah, it was a special moment, special day.
What did Lee Johnson say to you on that day at the Stadium MK?
Yeah, to be fair, he was great. He told me that I was going to be playing, and he said, just do what you've been doing to be with us, and be up with the first team. So he kind of just took away all the, I wouldn't say took away all the nerves, because obviously I was nervous, but he helped me calm down, and a lot of the lads were getting around me. I played next to Flinty, and he was great with me. He was telling me, talking to me the whole game, and just sort of being that senior pro that I needed to sort of get through that game and get through I wouldn't say get through the game, actually, just more get through the emotions of that game, because it can be, it can be quite an emotional day, and you're thinking everything's going a million miles an hour for you, and just to be able to slow it down and play my game was what I needed, and everyone around me was doing that, and it was great for me.
A 2-0 win that day at Stadium MK. Did it feel extra special to be part of a winning team?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, winning that game and being part of all the emotions of the celebrations and everything like that, and just sort of, luckily, obviously my dad was there. Luckily, so I ran over with the celebrations. I was looking at him, and it was a great day, and yeah, like I said, it's something that I'll remember forever, and it was obviously a great moment for me in my career, and to kick off my footballing career with a win and a clean sheet was lovely.
Next season came a loan spell with Accrington Stanley, a long way from home. Were you eager to get out and play football?
Yeah, for sure. I think I was 19 years old, and the gaffer had sort of said to me, you probably aren't going to feature as much as you maybe like, and I think it would benefit you to go out and get some game time and gain some experience just playing men's football and being in and around that environment, and where you sort of die for 3 points in that environment instead of playing 21s, where it's more maybe development and making sure that everything's right, setting you up to get into the first team and stuff. But yeah, it was. I can remember when I got told it was going to be Aki, and going. I was super excited. I wanted to just get going, and it was the first time I've ever driven on the motorway.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, car full of stuff.
A lot of motorway.
Yeah, a long motorway.
Did you realise how far away it was?
No, well, I obviously searched it, and I was like, okay, this is something I'll get my head around. I'm not going to be coming home every weekend. But yeah, no, it was great. I remember going there, and I stayed in a house with 5 of the other lads that played in the team. So I can remember just sort of pulling up at this house and
Bit like uni there.
I just got a postcode, just sort of turned up, knocked on the door, said, yeah, I've just signed for Aki on loan, and they were like, okay, come on in, mate. Like, so yeah, it was a great experience, and I'm still friends with those guys now. So yeah, it was a really good sort of introduction, I guess, into football, and played I think 17, 18 games there, and it was great. It was something that I look back on really fondly, and I'm super happy that happened.
A long way from home. Yeah. Was that the furthest you'd really ever strayed?
Yeah, at that point, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I'd never gone further north than that. But yeah, like I said, it was a good experience. It sort of fast-tracked my growing up, and it was really, really good for me.
From one end of the country to the other, Plymouth Argyle next on loan.
Yeah.
I've heard you speak fondly about your time there. Do you feel that really matured you as a player going to Plymouth?
100%. It was. I played centre half there as well, which was great for me. And yeah, I loved my time there. I think I was 20 years old, and I just got on from day one with all the lads, and clicked into the system that was there and the way we were playing, and yeah, it was a great time for me there, and I like you said, I've spoken very fondly about Plymouth in the past, and I'll continue to do so, and it was a really, really good time for me in my career, and it just allowed me to play football the way I wanted to play football, and play free and play without any sort of pressure on me, because they just allowed the team. That's the sort of system we had, and we had some good players, and again, just to reiterate, I was still friends with all those players now, and yeah, it was a really good time for me.
Don't want to touch too much more on loans, but there was a couple more. Rotherham United, where you've admitted it was a tough season for the club,
for sure.
Tough season for you. But do you now, looking back, think really appreciate a tough season and making you the player you are today?
Of course, you got to take learning experiences from the good and the bad, and I definitely took some learning experiences, and also it's sort of like I said, the Atkinson Stanley one, fast tracked my growing up. That one definitely did, because I had to have some thick skin there, and for me personally, I from that moment, from that season onwards, really, I tried to not let a lot faze me, and try to be a bit numb to the good and the bad. You don't want to go up and down too much, and you try and stay on an even keel, and yeah, that season was not ideal for me personally, but not great obviously for the club getting relegated, and it was it was an experience that, I mean, I wouldn't say everyone should have, but it was an experience where I had to just deal with it, and had to just keep going in and keep getting on with it, and trying to find a way to find a solution about how to try and change stuff, and tweak my game in ways that I feel like might benefit me. And obviously I was playing right back then, and going from playing centre half to right at Plymouth to then right back at Rotherham was something that I wanted to had to sort of get on with, and try and, again, like I said, find a solution to just try and add a string to my bow, and then going up north to Aberdeen was another eye-opener.
Did you feel you were ready for the Bristol City first team at that stage, or did you want to go out on loan?
Yeah, no, I felt like I was ready, but the circumstances were the circumstances, and yeah, I ended up going out on loan again.
It was cut short, and straight into. Was it a shoulder injury?
Yeah, I had a shoulder injury, and I came back in January, and obviously we had the COVID season. That was the COVID season, where we had the break. So it kind of, as much as it was a terrible time for everybody, for my footballing career, it was quite. It gave me the time to recover and then be fit for when the season started again.
Did it feel weird to make your breakthrough really into the first team when there's no fans in the stadium?
Yeah, it was strange. Yeah, it was really strange. Obviously, that was a strange time for everybody in sport and everybody in the world, obviously, but everybody in sport, and it was strange sort of walking out Ashton Gate and sort of, okay, this is my time now. I'm gonna take it and run with both hands, and not seeing a single person in the stand. So it was strange, but I guess maybe it took some pressure off. I don't know. But yeah, it was obviously my breakthrough year here, and I wanted to. I think I tried to use as much as I could from all the loans I'd had to go and excel.
When you first broke into that side, summer of 2020 onwards, probably the next year, you played at right back, right wing back, right centre back, centre back.
Yeah.
What do you feel was important to you in nailing down the centre back position you now play at? Was playing at right back helpful? Was playing at right wing back? Sure. And you even played in central midfield sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's always been something that I've had in my game, the versatility to maybe switch a position here and there, and if the team needs that, then I'm obviously more than okay to do that. But I think to nail down that centre half spot, I wanted to, I had to add some stuff to my game, some of the leadership stuff and certain things, and I feel like that season helped me do that, because I did play the majority of those games that season at centre half, and if it was right of a 3 or in a 2 or whatever it would have been, and it just sort of gave me the valuable sort of experience of playing centre half, and it allowed me to sort of, like I said at Plymouth, just playing freely, and that's what happened. And yeah, I really enjoyed that time, even when I did go into centre mid or right wing back or right back or whatever. It was I was trying to just be a sponge, really, and just sort of take whatever happened and just run with it and go with it. And I enjoyed playing centre mid. I enjoyed that time, and like I said, it's something that I like having in my game, the versatility to maybe switch it up every now and again. Obviously, now I feel like I've properly nailed down a spot, and I'm more than happy to continue that.
You made 43 league appearances that year out of 46, but the season after was a bit more difficult for you, in and out of the sides. Mm-hmm. How difficult was it to go from 43 games to 22? Was it difficult?
Yeah, very, very. I mean, I never would do that, but I didn't come back that pre-season thinking, well, played 43, I'm going to play. No one's guaranteed a spot, of course, and you have to earn it. You have to hold on to it. And yeah, that year was tough to deal with not playing as much, and like I said, playing that season before centre half, and I played a lot of positions, but I preferred playing the centre half role, and then sort of playing that season at right back, and started that season at right back, and it was a change, and I had to try and adapt, and maybe that adaptation period didn't happen as easy as I thought it would, but it was never gave up on it. It was a tough year for sure, because of playing so much football and loving it, and having your sort of breakthrough year and whatnot, and then not playing as much the next year is obviously going to be tough for anybody to deal with, and you've got to try and block out some of the noise, and that was something that I was so happy that I dealt with at Rotherham, but like I got, like I said, I had to have a thick skin at Rotherham, and I had to have an even thicker one that year, and that's something that I won't forget, and something that I will hold on to and use as fuel, and the next season it went a lot better.
So you earned your space back in the team. A big summer in Austria, and how good did it feel to earn your place at the start of the season and kind of hold it for most of the season? Yeah,
for sure. It was a rewarding moment. Like you said, had a good time in Austria and had a good pre-season, and just sort of, like you said, earn that spot back, and it was a very rewarding moment. But I never thought, okay, this is it. I'm back in. It's done now. I was just take each. It's very cliche, but take each game as it comes, and just make sure that in training and in the games I'm performing at the ability that I know I have and know I can show and bring to the team. And yeah, it was a good season and a rewarding sort of moment when I look back on that time, thinking about how sort of hard that year before was and how much sort of stuff I had to deal with, and then taking that and, like I said, using it as fuel and trying to put my best foot forward every time I played in that season, and yeah, like I said, it was a very rewarding time for me, and I didn't really think about it like that in the season, obviously, but yeah, it was a great season. 45 appearances, Player of the Year. How special was winning that award? Yeah, no, that was a nice one, and obviously because it's come from within the changing room, and the lads obviously showed their appreciation, and I'm very grateful. I can't thank them enough for that, and it was a nice touch to finish the season like that and earn that award, and yeah, it was a nice one. We're sat here in a lovely Bristol sun. We haven't really touched on it, but
How good does it feel to live here and live in such a great place like this?
Absolutely, it's lovely. It's lovely, and like I said earlier on, this is home, and it's beautiful when the sun's out like this, and we can just sit here and enjoy this. And yeah, I'm over the moon. I'm super happy to be here, and yeah, it's lovely.
We spoke about him earlier, Max O'Leary. You went to school with him as well, I believe. What's your earliest memories of Max O'Leary?
Yeah, we went to secondary school together, but I knew him before that. We played for like a county team. We were playing a few years up, and we played sort of, I think we were, say maybe year 6. We played for this county team, and it was actually, my brother was also in that team, and we played a couple of years up, and yeah, so I knew him through there, and then obviously when I joined City, I think I joined a couple of years, maybe a few years before him, and then when he joined, obviously it was great because someone that I knew as a familiar face, and I was also a familiar face for him, and yeah, so we've been with each other for a long time, and it's great to continue that, and he's obviously doing really well, and it's great to play with someone behind you that I obviously know so well, and it's a great story for both of us that we're continuing that together.
How good is it to play alongside him every week with someone you played on? Did you really think you'd be playing together when you were in the academy?
Well, we dreamed of it, we'd hoped it, and now it's happening, and it's amazing, it's great, like knowing somebody so well in the team. Obviously we know all the lads really well and we're very close, but obviously that's a sort of a stronger one, and yeah, it's great to have someone behind me that is such a good friend, and our families are friends and everything like that. So it's nice that we have that, and we can continue this journey going into a very important time in both of our careers and both of our lives, and have it committed to this club and do that together.
So I'm going to pick out a couple of games from last season. We had Swansea away, where it was the debut of the Zak Vyner chant. Do you remember hearing it?
Yeah, it was. It was more of a. I think it was my name. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I wasn't really obviously I wasn't tuning into it. But my dad was in the stand, and he obviously was very. he was buzzing.
Was he singing along as well?
He was trying to get it, and he was filming it and stuff like that. And I did hear. Obviously, I heard my name after a while. I heard it, and it was a lovely feeling. It gives you a little bit of a boost as well when you hear it on the pitch. You can run that extra yard faster maybe, or give yourself that extra sort of bit of energy. But yeah, it was a nice night, and obviously the scoreline was even better.
Stoke away last year, you got your first goal in front of a crowd. How good did that feel?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. That obviously was a great comeback in that game, and yeah, it was a great feeling, and I think it showed in the celebration. It was just a whole bunch of emotions just pouring out, and it was it was brilliant. And I loved that moment with right in front of them and going right up to him, and it was just, that's something everyone. I know strikers get the plaudits for it all, but whenever a defender pops up and scores, or whoever, and you dream of them sort of moments, celebrating in front of an away crowd or your crowd, and yeah, it was fantastic. I loved that moment, and that game was obviously a good one for us, and yeah, it was quality. Loved it.
You've taken your form from last season and really kicked on again this year. How far do you think this team can go this season?
Yeah, we want to push up the table. We want to stake a claim in this league and make sure that we're actually pushing for something, and we want to have those high pressure games. We want to have those high pressure moments because it means that there's something on the line, and we want those games, and we want to be able to push up the league as high as possible, and we want to strive for it all. We want to go and do it, and yeah, we have a good hungry squad, and we have a good ambition within each player personally has a good and high ambition, and it sort of aligns with the club's ambitions, and hopefully we can kick on this year.
Well, that's everything today, Zak. Thanks for your time.